It's Mended Australia, Karen and Danny Ellis from Melbourne, Australia, and we're pleased to be responding to the FTC's rulemaking inquiry that has been petitioned by US PIRG and iFixit. Mended Australia is self-directed and self-funded. We have no financial interest in being involved in responding to this petition, and we are pleased to be able to contribute. Danny, you have something that you would like to present?
Yes, the HP 9020 printer behind me, we had one and it failed, and a little gear that size had broken, and it's only cheap nylon rubbish, and HP couldn't supply that spare part, and it's still a current model. And I got told it was out of warranty, but I persisted and they replaced the unit. But when they replaced the unit, it had the latest software on it, on this one. And before, on my old printer, I could put generic print cartridges in. Now this one will only take HP. And again, that's companies telling you what to do and remove my choice of what I wanted to do. And it happens all the time, whether it's when you try to repair something, you've got to take it in, and they've only got the tools to repair or replace things. And I believe it's just been going on far too long, and they use this copyright law to just have an unfair advantage on the consumer.
So what about the affordability of parts?
Oh yes, well, you know, as I said, it's a little small part, and they told me to scrap the machine, which I had to do because you just couldn't, no point having equipment around that's not functioning. And they seem to consider throwing away rather than repairing.
Did they tell you about the serialisation of these parts when they said they were going to replace the printer?
Oh, not so much the serialisation in printers, but more about that they don't carry those parts, and their software, these cartridges, aren't they serialised to the printer? No, they put a chip in them.
Oh, okay.
They put a chip in them, and it stops generic manufacturers being able to supply print cartridges to the printer. And they've done that by just a software update. The printer will get a software update, and all of a sudden these are blocked out from being used. And I paid a lot of money for these, but they're a lot cheaper than the HP. So HP are just trying to get a monopoly on supplies. And
what about the story of viruses? What's happening there?
Oh, the CEO of HP come out and said that you can get a virus coming through your printer through these chips, and guess who puts the chips in these things? HP. So HP have created a problem and are blaming other sources that you can get a virus through your printer, whereas these haven't got a chip in them. They just go in the printer and work. Whereas the HP ones with their dynamic security has a chip that talks to the printer, and that's how they gain access with their viruses. And also other electronic equipment manufacturers are serialisation of parts and all that is totally unnecessary. It just makes it harder for DIY to achieve a perfect repair.
One affordable repair too.
And an affordable repair, yes. Sometimes some of the Apple, their repair program, their screen might cost $450, but you go into the Juniors bar and it's, to get them to do it, it's $20 dearer. So, $470. So it just seems ridiculous that spare part pricing is just not fair.
If you can get spare parts, and we couldn't get that 20-cent part, could we?
No.
So the question is, what happens in Australia and probably in the States in relation to a printer that is too expensive to use? Where does this go now? Because we don't use it.
Well, yes, that's the other thing with this. I hardly print with this, and they've got, as you can see, it's a big cartridge. They're big cartridges. And I reckon I've done probably 20 pages on it, and it's telling me I already need to replace the cartridges. And it won't print, but I just keep it for a scanner now. So again, you pay a lot of money for a printer like that, and I certainly won't buy HP again. It's just their practices are too restrictive on the consumer.
Well, if we're not going to use that and you get a better one that just scans and you can buy generic cartridges, guess where that ends up in Australia and probably in America too.
Yes. And the other thing too is that...
Where does it end up?
E-waste.
E-waste, that's right. It ends up in e-waste, and in Australia it comes under our National Television Computer Recycling Scheme, and it will be shredded. That's what happens.
And the other thing I want to mention too is that I can't downgrade my firmware on that printer. If I could send that printer back to 2022 firmware, these cartridges will work on it, but HP won't let me downgrade that through software.
So is there any printer company that's not doing what HP's doing?
Oh, the Brother. We've got a Brother printer here that's fairly old, but it goes really well, and I believe they're not doing it. But I think we're just focusing on printers here, but it's across all the tech and even into farming and all that. They're getting into subscriptions and you name it. They just want to have control of everything.
The medical industry too.
Yes, and we need to stop it. It's got to come back. The consumer is the one that buys the product. The consumer should be the one that have choice of how they want to use it, not the manufacturer on how they want to control you to use it. So that's my view.
We probably would have kept the other printer before this printer.
Yes.
You wanted to, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You wanted to repair it?
Yes.
And what happened to that printer that you liked using that took generic cartridges that could have been fixed with a 20-cent part?
Well, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I should have taken the part out of this one and kept the other printer, which had the older software in it, and I'd still be using it.
So this printer's got the part you require?
Yes, yeah.
Uh-oh, you didn't tell me that.
No, as I said, hindsight's a marvellous thing.
Yes.
Because what happened, that did a software as soon as I plugged it in, and I didn't have a chance to change the setting. So there you go. So
the printer that was really working, that you liked, ended up in e-waste being shredded, is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, the same printer as that. It's the same printer as that, but different software in it.
Yeah, yep. All for really a 20-cent part.
Oh, yes, if that.
Yeah, if that, yeah. So thank you to the FTC for giving us the opportunity from down under to explain what happened to us and our story that is quite concerning, really, and we hope that America can lead the way in showing us the way down under. Thank you.
Thank you.